Hi guys. So in this video, I will be explaining you one of the important class which comes in Java 8, which is optional class. Okay, so there are a lot of features that came in Java 8, but one of them is most frequently asked. Okay, and they can ask you like, apart from this functionality, what else does it do? Okay, so I hope you got it. So I'm talking about optional class. Okay, so there are a lot of features that came, like lambda function came, functional interface came, predicate. Those are like lot of inbuilt functional interfaces came, and with respect to date also few functionalities came. So I'm trying to create a series on Java 8 features, like what all important features that are asked in interviews and that are used in projects as well, so that I will be putting it in the form of videos in a playlist format. Okay, so that you will get a clear and crisp picture of it. Okay, so what is happening in the background. So today I will create a video on optional class. So in depth we will go in each and every method. We will try to understand like what all things it means. Okay, so let's get started. Like, what is optional class? So from the name itself, we will get to know like optional class means what. So it will basically check that whether there is any null value or not. So maybe the data is coming from database, or the data might be coming from file or any third party location. So we have to check it, right? And so before Java 8, what we were using, at each and every object which is getting returned, we are making use of if condition to check whether there is null value or not, if the object is null or not. If the object's particular field we have to make use of, we will be checking that whether that value is null or not. But every time in each and every method, there will be hundreds of lines. So how many times you have to write that? It becomes very tedious task, right? So here optional comes into picture. We don't have to make use of not null, not null, null not equal to, null not equal to, like that. You don't have to write at every point. So apart from that, you can make use of optional class directly. Okay, so with the help of optional class, there are certain static methods and there are certain concrete methods. Okay, so with the help of that, it makes us very much simpler to see that whether the data is already present or not. Okay, so if data is present, we can fetch the data, or else we can make use of lot of things. Okay, what all things you want, you can do that. If you want to print certain data, if the data is not present, that also you can do. If you want to throw certain kind of exception, if data is not present, that also you can do. Okay, or you can call a method to return certain value if the data is not present, that also you can do it. It's totally up to you what you want to do. So that much feasibility it provides. Okay, so that's the advantage of making use of optional class. So this type of question can come in interviewers mind. They can ask you this like, is optional class only used for handling null pointer exception? So what you will tell the answer for this? The answer for this is no. It is not only helps in solving null pointer exception, rather it helps us to see that whether the data is present. If data is not present, then you can do hell lot of things in that. Okay, you can make use of stream operation also in optional class reference. You can make use of filter, you can make use of map, flat map. There are a lot of inbuilt methods that you can make use of. Just like that, you are making use of array list, right? Array list or collection class objects you are making use of, and then over that you are streaming it, and then you are using map, flat map, those all things. So similar to that, you can do with respect to optional class as well. It is not confined specifically or restricted specifically for handling null pointer exception. Rather, it helps us to solve other type of problems, like if you want to filter any data, if you want to map any data, if you want to throw any exception, if you want to get any data. So all these type of operations can be performed with the help of optional class reference. Okay, so let me show you the docs from Oracle, like what all inbuilt methods are there, like static methods, and what all concrete methods are there. And then we will be going into the code and see like how we can make use of optional class, okay, in depth. And what all important fundamental methods are there that can be asked in the interview, that also I will be showing you. So stay tuned till then. So let's get started. So in this, I haven't created much of PPT because it's more of a practical kind of thing. Okay, so for starting purpose, I have created PPT so that you can get to know like what all things are there in it. Okay, so first is optional class that I already told you. Like in this video, I will be discussing about optional class. Okay, so why optional class? I already told you to handle null pointer exception. And along with that, if you want to perform certain other operations, like if you want to throw exception or get any data, or like map any data or filter anything apart from checking the null pointer issue, that also you can do. So it's very much beneficial in that scenario. And is it resolves only? No, it doesn't resolve only null pointer exception. So I hope you know what is null pointer exception. Okay, so that also questions can be asked to freshers or 1 or 2 years experience. This type of question can also be asked. So can you tell me a scenario where null pointer exception is coming? Okay, so whenever you are fetching the data from the database, and let's suppose the object value is null. Okay, there is no data in the database. Okay, and then from that null object, you are trying to call a method or a field value. Okay, so then what will happen? It will be null pointer exception. So this is the value, this is the meaning of null pointer exception. Whenever you are trying to call a method or a field member from a null object reference, so in that scenario it will throw you a exception which is called as null pointer exception. So let's now deep dive into it. Like from the code perspective, we will be understanding what all inbuilt methods are there. Okay, so then start the demo purpose. So let me share. So here you can see I've created one employee class. Okay, and within that employee class, I've created employee ID, name, age. Okay, so you can add salary also. There are a lot of things that you can add based upon your needs. So the main motto is to not add multiple fields in this employee class. The main motto is to see the usage of optional class. So let me show you the doc first. Okay, the Oracle document I will be showing you first. Okay, so here you can see this is from the Oracle document. Okay, the class is optional class. It is present in java.util package. Okay, so it will be in this format, java.util.optional. It will be, you will have to pass the type of the class within the optional tag, which is a generic tag. Okay, so here you can see a container object which may or may not contain a non-null value. Okay, so if a value is present, it returns me true. If no value is present, it returns empty. Okay, it will not return me null. So that is the advantage of using optional class. Okay, so here you can see there are certain methods. So if you see towards static methods, there are mainly three static methods like optional.empty. Okay, you can directly write from the class name like optional class, optional.empty. Okay, so what it will do, it will return me an empty optional instance. Then optional.off, it returns an optional describing the value which is not null. Okay, then optional.off nullable. Okay, so it will basically check, it will describe the value, like what is that value contains. So if it is not null, it will return the value, or else it will return empty. Okay, empty optional value it will return to you. Okay, so these are three static methods basically. So from the code perspective, if you understand, so there are three methods. Like from here, if I can show you, like java.util optional we have to make use of. Okay, so optional, so here generate is not required as of now. If you want, you can pass. Okay, you can pass employee class optional dot. Okay, so here if you can observe, if you are writing generics, then it will not allow to call method. Okay, so yeah, I'm removing it and then I'm calling. You can see here there are three static methods: empty, off, and off nullable. Okay, so here you can see in empty, it returns an empty optional instance. So no value is present for this optional. Okay, so let me call this method. Okay, and let me print it. Okay, so if I print the data, if you see, the optional.empty is coming over here. Okay, that means it's an empty optional data. So what was one more? Optional.off. So here what will happen? We have to pass the value over here, which will be null or not null. It depends. Okay, so you can pass anything, like you can pass any string value also. You can pass like Rahul. Okay, so if I write like this, then it will check whether the data is null or not. Okay, so if I run it, so here you can see nothing is coming as of now. So I haven't printed it. Okay, so let me print the data. Yeah, so let me run it now. So here if you observe, it is coming optional Rahul. Okay, it is not coming the actual Rahul value. It is coming optional Rahul. So what will you do if you want to fetch the data exact Rahul? So what you will do, from here you can have get method. So if you write get method over here, then it will print the actual content, which is the string value Rahul. Okay, so it will print me that. So there is a get method present within it. So if you can directly call it, then it will print the value. But in the optional.off, it will have values. Okay, so if it is, see, it is describing the given not null value. Okay, so see, if value is null, it may throw null pointer exception also. Okay, so let's suppose I am putting it over here as null. So if I'm putting null over here and then I'm trying to run the method, run the class, then you will see it is throwing me null pointer exception. It's okay, right? So how will you resolve that? So for that, there is a method called if present or else. Okay, so one more static method was there, no? of nullable. Okay, so let me make use of that. Optional, removing generics of nullable. So now what I will do, and now I will do the same thing. Now what will happen? Tell me, guys. There are two methods I'm using, off method and off nullable method. So when I'm using off nullable method, then what will happen? Let me run the code. So first of all, we need to comment it out, this one, so that we'll get the idea, because it will throw exception here only, so it will not go to next line. Okay, so let me run it. Yeah. So here you can see again it is throwing exception because it has no value present. It is giving me exception as no value present. So you are directly fetching the data. But the return type of these two are different. Okay. So if we are passing null within an off method, so it may return me null. Okay. So from that null instance, you are calling get method, it will throw you null pointer exception. But in this case, it is not throwing me null pointer exception. It is giving me no such element exception. Okay. So you can handle it within try catch block. Okay. And it is correct as well, because it is directly stating me, it is giving me the message over here that no value is present. Okay, so it is giving me the message as no value present. You have to catch this instance or you can throw it. It depends upon you. You can log this information. It's an error. Okay, so you have to log this error. Okay, so that way you can make use of this optional.offNullable.get. So optional.offNullable is very much pretty used as compared to optional.off, because it's not solving the purpose. Optional.off method is not solving the purpose as of now, because it is still throwing me null pointer exception. But in case of off nullable, it will check that whether the data is null or not. If it is not null, it will return me the value. It will get the value and return, or else it will, if it is null value, it will give no value present. It will give no such element exception. Okay, so you can handle this within this optional class also. We will be going in that as well. Okay, so now let's understand what are concrete methods present. So if you see in that optional in the document for Oracle, so here you can see there are instance method present. Okay, so they have filter method, equals method. So it will be used just like array list dot stream dot filter. Similar to that, you can make use of filter, flat map, get method. These all methods are instance methods of optional. Okay, so you can't directly call from optional class. Rather, you can store the data into a reference value. From there, you can call these methods and make use of it as and when required. So within that, you can see there is a method called if present and if present or else. Okay, there are a lot of methods present within it. So I will be telling you what are important methods from interview perspective and which are mostly used in a project basically. So here if you see, equals method are also used, filter method is also important. Flat map is not that much used with respect to optional, but yeah, flat map is important. Okay, then get method is we are most commonly using. Hash code is fine, we are not that much using, but it's very important to know. If present is very important. From the reference, you have to check whether that optional instance is present or not. So if present, then data will have to be printed, or else it's not printing me anything. It will not print anything in this scenario. Okay, so if data is present, then only it will print, or else it will not print me anything. But here you can see the return type as void. So here only what is consumer, you know, right? What is consumer? Consumer is a functional interface. Okay, so within that there is one abstract method. So what is functional interface? The interface containing only one abstract method. So for consumer, it contains only one inbuilt functional abstract method basically. So that is what? That is accept method. So it will only accept the data. It will not return me anything. Okay, so within consumer you can have lambda function. Okay, so whenever you can see it is accepting any functional interface, just blindly you can go for lambda function. Okay, so lambda function implements functional interfaces. So here you can see if present or else. So with the help of this method, what you can do, you can check like data if present, like the reference from optional class we have to check, and then if data is present, then it will be of consumer type. We have to print the data over here. It will accept the data. It will not return me anything. Then if data is not present, in that scenario, we will be having empty action. Okay, that means it will neither intake any input or not return me anything. Okay, so if you want to print anything then and there itself, or you can call any method and print it there itself. For that sake, you can make use of empty action, which is of runnable type. So runnable is also an functional interface which contains a run method as a only function, as a only abstract method. Okay, then it then is empty. With the help of that, you can check whether the reference optional is empty or not. Then is present. Okay, so there is if present, there is present. There are two things. Okay, So in case of is present, it's actually checking the Boolean value, whether that data is present or not. And in if present, it will check, like if data is present, then it will print also at the same time. Okay. Then map, it is used to map the data. Okay, if data is present, it will describe the with the help of nullable, and function is a functional interface, right? And it contains what type of method? It contains one abstract method within it which accepts the data, and then it will return it back as well. So there will be like input output, two values will be there. Okay, so that is also very much important over here. So consumer will have a consume method, and a function will have accept method. Okay, I hope you got the clarity on this. Then supplier, okay, it will have supply method. It will only supply the data, it will not return me anything. Okay, so it will not consume, sorry, it will not consume anything, rather it will keep on supplying the data. Okay, so that is optional or. Okay, so we have not used that much in or case. Okay, or else it's used, it is important. Or else get. Okay, if you want to get any data, if the data is not present, that way you can make use of or else get. Or else throw, this is also very important. If you want to throw any kind of exception, then you have to throw. So here you can see it will throw no such element exception. Okay, so just now I have shown you, right? No such element exception, in which scenario it may come. If data is off nullable, we are checking, and if data is not there, it will throw no such element exception. Okay, a value not present, those type of thing it will show. Then there are two overloaded method for or else throw. Okay, so one, it will not accept anything, and another or else throw where it will accept supplier type data. It will not consume anything, where rather it will return me data. Okay, so that is or else throw. Throw means what? It is throwing exception. If the data is not present, it will throw certain exception. That is or else throw. Okay. And then there is stream method. It will stream over the data, like just like a sequential stream. It's not a parallel stream. Okay. So if data is present, it will stream over it, and then you can have filter or map operation. Then you can return the data, or else it will return me empty string. Okay. And then toString, it's a non-empty string value. It will return from the optional instance. So these are some of the methods. Okay. With some instance methods. And then there is a concrete method. Okay. So what are all concrete methods present? Empty, equals, filter, flat map, all are same only. Okay. So I hope you got the clarity, like what all inbuilt methods are important from interview perspective, and what all things you need to know. Okay, so these all are important, mostly are important. Okay, so these are the things, there is not that much method that you can't remember. If you can go through these methods, these are very easy to understand. Okay, and from code perspective, let me show you what all methods are important and which we have used in our project. Okay, so so here you can see within the employee class, you can see like I've created three constructors for employee. One is EMP100, which is the first employee ID, then name, then age. Okay. Then for EMP101, someone has forget to put the name of that employee, so it's null. EMP102 is also null, and the age is given over here. Okay. So some random values I have set it for employees. So from here, what I am doing, we are doing optional.off nullable. We are fetching the employee name over here. Okay, so it will check whether the data is null or not. So if data is not null, it will return me the exact value. But if data is null, then what will happen? It will call this call me method. Okay, so here you can see I've created one call me method. Within that, I'm returning one string value which is anonymous. Okay, it will return me anonymous value, and then this will be printed as I am called. Okay, so this is the thing which I wanted to tell you. Like if data is not null, then it will print the name of the employee, or else it will print this. It will go to this method and will print the data. But there is one catch in it. Okay, so the catch is if the name is not null, okay, still it will go to the call me method. So which should not be the case. It should not work like this. Like if data is not null, then it should only print the employee name, right? It should not go to else method. But how if else condition work? If the condition is satisfied, then it will it will not go to else part, it will go to if method reference. Okay, if method part only, if method block only it will go. If data is not present, then only it should go to else part, right? So let me comment it out, the other part, so that I can show you clearly. Okay, so I'm printing only this one. If data is null, okay, it will print a call me method. It will go to call me method and print the data, or else if data is not null, it will print the name of the employee. So I am fetching the employee one. Employee one has the name, so it is not null. Okay, so let's see what will happen over here. Here also it's not required to print. I've already shown you. So let's directly see the output for this one. So if I run this code, so here you can see employee one data is present. The name is present over here as Dave. Okay. So it is printing me the name Dave. It's fine. But have you observed one more thing? It is going to call me method. I am called method is not written over here. If you go to call me method, from here you can see I am called is getting printed over here. So is this the correct functionality implementation? I'm asking from you. Is it the correct way to implement? No, right? It is not giving me proper output. It's giving me improper output. It should not go to our else part because the data is not null. Okay, Dave is written, which is not null. So it should not go to else part. It should have directly written me Dave. That's it. It should not print me this. So that is the problem with or else method. That's why it is not preferred much. Okay, and let me take the name which is actually null. Okay, emp2.get name I am doing. So let me run this part. So here you can see here the data is null. Okay, so data is null, so here it should go to or else method. Okay, so with or else it is printing me anonymous also. So in the previous scenario it was not printing me anonymous, it's fine, but it was printing me the data present in that method, which is written in the form of logger or SOP statements. So those statements were printing, which is actually a issue. It should not print like that. Okay, it should not even go to that call me method. So that is the blunder. So here it is calling I am called, it's fine, it's returning me anonymous also. But in the previous scenario, when data was not null, in that scenario, it was printing me what I am called, which was an issue. So how to resolve that issue? So to resolve that issue, we have to make use of or else get method. So let me uncomment this part. Okay. So I am making use of emp1. So if emp1 emp1 employee name is what? Dave. So it is not null. Okay, so it will not go to or else get part. Okay, so let me comment it out this part so that you will get the idea of it. Now hold this instance into your mind. If we are making use of or else method, then it was printing me I am called from the call me method. Okay, so now we are fetching data from emp1 where name is present, it is not null. Okay, so let me see what happens with or else get method. So there are two methods, or else get. So with or else get, you can see it is not printing me I am called, the SOP statement in the call me method. See, if data is not null, it is printing me Dave, and that is the actual requirement. That only should be printed. This is the only way it should work. Okay, and if I am making use of emp2, emp2 employee name is null. Okay, so in this scenario only it should go to call me method. So now if I am running this code, see, it is not printing me Dave. Okay, so it's actually the null is also not getting printed. It's directly going to call me method. Okay, and then it was printing me I am called and anonymous. Okay, so or else get is much more preferred than or else because the functionality is matching our requirement. Okay, so always and always go for or else get if you want to fetch the data and return me anything. Okay, so this was it that I wanted to show for or else and or else get. Okay, I hope you got a clarity on this. Then next comes or else throw. This is also one of the important feature. So if the interviewer asks you like what all else thing which you can do if we don't have to check the null pointer issues, okay, or if we don't want to do null checks, then what else we can do? So we can make use of or else throw to throw certain type of exception if the condition is not met, if the condition is not satisfied. So here you can observe we are making use of optional.off nullable. So optional.off nullable, what it will do, it will check if data is present or not. So if data is present, it will print a data which is not null value, or else it will print like no value present, like input mismatch or no such value exception is coming. So like that data will print. So here if you can observe, it will check whether data is null or not. If data is not null, it will directly print, or else it will throw this exception. So let me first go with emp1 where data was present. Okay, so name is present for this emp1. So if I run this code, see, with or else throw, it is not throwing any exception. Okay, so it is directly printing me the name, which is Dave. It's fine over here. So now let's do emp2, which actually has null value. So in this scenario, if I run the code, see, it is printing me illegal argument exception. So for current ID, whatever I have given the message over here, it is printing me that. Okay, so for current ID, name is null, so please pass correct ID. So in the actual project, what you can do, you can throw exception, the customized exception, and then you can log that error as well. Okay, so that it will be shown in the console and in the Splunk logs, wherever you are checking the logs in production and that place. So you have to add logger as well over here in the actual project. For practice purpose, that's fine. So you understood the concept, right? So in this scenario, actually, it will go to the else part and it will throw the exception or else get. Okay, it will print the emp name 2. So it is printing me the emp name 2, which is actually throwing me the exception, which is working perfectly fine. Then is present or else. There's another feature that we have learned, so that we will be learning now. Next comes if present or else. So let me uncomment this part. Okay, so if data is present, then it will print me the data. Okay, so I hope you got a clarity on this. This is not that difficult. Okay, so you can make use of this optional dot if present. Okay, so here you can see if present or else is there. Okay, so you can make use of if present or else. So here you can observe it's a consumer type data. One is consumer type, one is runnable type. So here if you can see, it is accepting the data. It will accept the data. Okay, it will not return me anything. It will just accept the data. So what you want to accept? You want to consume certain data, no? So give the data, feed the data. It wants to accept. So feed the data within this method. Okay, so it will have consume meta. It will consume the data. Okay, so what you can do, you can print the data over here. Then you can pass X. Okay, so this part is done. First part was consumer. Okay, so here you can see it is taking the data, but and printing the data here only. Okay, or else you can call the method, but if it will not return me anything. Okay, and the second part was what? Second part was runnable type. Runnable has run method present within it. Okay, so what will happen in this scenario? It will not accept also, it will not return also. Then how will you handle that? How will you implement that? So how are you implementing run method instances? So it will not consume anything. So I'm not passing anything. And it will not return me anything as well. So I will not return anything. I will just print it. So what I will print over here, if data is present, it's fine. It will print the data, or else what it will do. You can print the data over here like optional value not present. So no value present. So with this, there will be no exception coming. And then you can pass optional as well if you want. Okay, to see like what actual instance optional holds. So that data also you can print it in the console. So let me run it and let's see like what's the output coming for this. Let me remove this part. Yeah, so now let me run the code now. If I run this code using Java application, you can see it is present or else no value present. Okay, so here it is going to else part, runnable part. It's printing me this no value present and the actual value. So give me some space over here. Okay, so it will look good now. So if I run the code, so here if you see, it is printing me optional dot empty value is present. Okay, so now you got a concept like how optional dot empty actually is working, it how it will come. Okay, how optional is working. So now let's suppose I'm taking emp1. So now emp1 data is present. So let me run the code for this. So if I run the code now, you will see the dev value is getting printed, which is not null value, and it is printing the not null value for that employee. Okay, I hope you got the clarity on this. Okay, so if present or else, I've already shown you. If you want to do uppercasing for that, you can do that as well. Okay, so within that, if you want to print with doing the uppercasing, you can do x.to uppercase or to uppercase. Okay, let me remove it. You can do to uppercase. So it will print the value, but it will do the uppercasing of it as well. So let me run the code. See, it has done uppercasing of this as well. So this question was also asked to me in an interview, like in Publicis Sapient, I think it was asked to me, like if some values are present within the employee or within the string array or anywhere, you have to do optional for that, and then we have to do the uppercase of it if data is present. If data is not present, then we have to just print the optional value, the optional instance of it, like value is not present, like that. So that can be done best with the help of optional class. Okay, and they were expecting Java 8 feature to be implemented, so optional was one and only way to implement that. So I hope you got a clarity on this, like how and what all methods are present. So I haven't covered all the methods. Okay, so I don't want to spoon feed you. I also want you to work on it. Okay, so within optional reference, there are multiple filter method, map methods are also present. So if you go within it, like optional dot, you can see there will be stream method is also present, just like you are doing the stream operation on array list set map dot entry set dot stream. Okay, so those all stream operation can be performed over optional as well. So that is a homework for you. Try doing stream operation, try doing filter operation, map operation, and see like what type of outcomes are coming for that. Okay, so that is all very simple because you are making use of array list dot stream dot filter. So that only same thing you have to mimic it over here with optional instance. Okay, and see the output what is coming. Okay, so the important ones I've already shown you. The filter and map one is not being asked much in an interview. It's for you to practice and see like what is the exact output coming and how it is getting implemented inside. So it will work similar to array list is dot stream dot filter part, but here if you implement it, you will see like with optional how does the behavior change. You have to observe that and you have to comment it down below, like with the help of optional, and if you are making use of array list, if you are making use of filter in both, then what is the change in behavior? Is it same or is it different? And if it is different, then in what scenario it's different? Okay, just comment it down below. I will be seeing all your comments. Okay, so this was it for optional class. I've covered almost everything from internally from scratch, like what all things are important and what all things you need to know before actually jumping onto the interview. So in the next videos, we will be covering all sorts of different features from Java 8. Then we will be covering all Java 11, 17, and very important features are there which is being asked in an interview. Those all things we will be covering in detail. So this was it. I hope you have enjoyed learning from this content. So if you like this video, please like, share, and subscribe. Okay, we'll be getting motivated to create these type of contents again and again. So we'll be seeing you in the next video with the next set of topics. Till then, it's Devjit Roy signing off. Bye bye.